Good evening. Welcome to the August 2nd Town of Clifton Park Town Board meeting. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Teresa, if you will call the roll.
Councilwoman Flood. Here. Councilwoman Sandor. Here. Councilman Morelli.
Here.
Councilwoman Wallowitz. Here. Supervisor Barron.
Here. Entertain a motion to approve the Town Board meeting minutes of July 6 and 19. Moved by Mr. Morelli, second by Ms. Wallowitz. Discussion. Okay, Teresa.
Councilwoman Flood.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sandor.
Yes.
Councilman Morelli.
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallowitz. Yes. Supervisor Barron.
Yes. Just a few communications and announcements real quick. Just want to congratulate a few young men that became Eagle Scouts officially over the weekend. James Lang, Michael Roos, Christian Horton, Aiden Sherwood, and Anthony Barini. So I want to congratulate all of those young men, everybody in the troop that volunteers to help them, and certainly their families. It's a big day when your scouting journey ends with attaining the Eagle Scout badge. So great job and congratulations. Summertime historically is difficult getting those Eagle Scouts to town board meetings. I don't know why. It's certainly the best part of becoming an Eagle, I thought, but we will try to get them here. We did make the invitation, and we'll see if they're able to make it at an upcoming meeting. Also want to just mention that COVID situation has been working its way into the news cycle on a daily basis once again. And I just want everybody to know that as a town, we're monitoring the data and any guidance or mandates that might come down the road here from New York State or federal governments. At this point, we have not taken any action or reverted to any restrictive measures that were in place over the last 18 months, but we are following the data closely. The county County Department of Health has continued to be a great source of information and assistance with the town. We'll work with them closely if we have any situations that require their review and study. They've always offered us great guidance, and we'll certainly depend on them for assistance should we have any issues. At this point, it's just important that everyone just take a little more caution. And a positive case is certainly something that we want to avoid at all costs. But as far as operations are concerned, a quarantine of a number of town employees, especially if they were in one particular department, something we worked very hard to try to avoid throughout the last 18 months, because that can be an operational hazard as far as us being able to accomplish our mission. So we need to just step up our vigilance and just be a little more careful. The numbers have increased steadily. The county will start releasing statistical information more regularly. They went from daily to once a week. It'll be more regular again. We're working towards a daily release of information once again. And we'll just stay on top of the issue. So I appreciate everybody. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, not again," and I thought this was over. Well, it's not over. Probably won't be over for a while, but we just need to remain vigilant, flexible, and pay attention to our own bodies every day. If you don't feel right, if you feel any symptoms coming on, that is certainly obviously a sign that you need to take measures to separate yourself from other people and certainly other large groups of people. Gave an update to the press last week on the Ashdown Bridge closure. We are expecting that project will be delayed, although at this point we're not sure how long it will be delayed. It was expected that the project would be completed by mid-September, but you know, you can't open the paper in any given day without reading about the labor shortage that is affecting many industries throughout our country, and certainly we're not immune to it here in Saratoga County. The labor market was very tight pre-COVID. Now, and you know, there's many reasons for it, and I know a lot of people have strong opinions on that, but the bottom line is right now it's much worse than it was pre-COVID as it relates to the lack of labor generally. So, I mean, I was just reading the other day, Price Chopper's short 2,000 positions. Yeah, that's a big number. I mean, they're a big company, but that's a large number of positions to be short. And that's just one example, and everybody's facing that. And what's happened is it's affecting the supply chain for materials, and so it's been increasingly becoming a larger issue. We'll have information available as soon as we have some good hard information to release. But you know, the contractor, the county, we all want this project done as soon as possible. It doesn't benefit anybody for a project time frame to be elongated at all. So so at this point, we'll have a better idea on when some of these materials that we need to complete the project will be shipped and available. But the supply chain issues are real, and we hear about that every day as well. But those two are interrelated, you know, the supply chains and the labor shortage. There's no doubt about that. We also have a closure on Plank Road, although that was planned. That's a project that we've been working on for a few years now to improve drainage in the area of Plank Road and Nadler Road. The Plank Road was scheduled to be closed for a couple of weeks. Dan, maybe you can give us an update as to where we are with that project.
Yeah, absolutely. So the first part of this project is Plank Road. We're really only planning for it to be shut down for 2 weeks while the new water main goes in and our box culvert goes in. It's just in the location it's at. It's a real tough spot, but this is going to help get stormwater out of the neighborhoods surrounding that area of town, and we've planned on this being one of the functions that help us to prevent future flooding. Obviously, if we have these 500, I was hoping Scott Reese could be here to explain it, but if we have these 500-year storms that we've been getting every 3 or 4 years, these are kind of these are the choke points that the water has to get through, and right now it's not, and that's what floods roads and floods homes. And we just got to get the water as quick as it can to the Waskill and let nature take its course.
And it's been difficult to get the needed permission from New York State personnel, and that's why it has taken a few years to get to this point. But when these projects are completed this year, it will be an improved situation for that area, which has had issues with drainage. And the last thing we need is bad drainage areas affecting roads and personal property and public property. So for the safety of everybody, these projects are very important. We try to relay that as strongly as possible to our friends in New York State, and sometimes they see it our way, sometimes they don't. But at this point, we're fortunate to move forward here with these projects, and I think everybody in that area will see an improved situation. So more to come on that, and believe me, we understand that these closures are a severe inconvenience. There's no doubt about that. But both were planned projects and need to be completed as outlined. Any other communications or announcements at this point?
Yes.
Yes, Mrs. Standard.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Tomorrow night at the Clifton Common from 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock, we will be celebrating our 17th annual National Night Out. And this is something we do obviously annually and in celebration of our law enforcement first responders. It's a great time. It's a great opportunity for residents to come out and meet our New York State police officers, our sheriff's department, our local EMS folks, and to thank them for the service that they provide to us on a daily basis. We'll have some crafts and some food trucks, so it'll really be a good family event. We have some sponsors, AT&T, Fidelis Care, Stewart Shops, Capital Arena, and Cricket Wireless, who are all generously sponsoring this event for us again tomorrow on the Clifton Common from 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock. So hope to see lots of people there. One other thing is the Green Committee has been very busy working on securing some grant funding from NYSERDA. We did this a few years ago. The town was awarded $50,000 through our efforts of doing some green type initiatives. This is the second round, another round of that, and we are vigorously working on some efforts. All residents should have received a postcard that looks like this in the mail in the past several days. If you have not received it yet, you'll probably be receiving it soon. The Green Committee, with the help of with the planning department mostly, we have been partnering with a company called Ampion. We had vetted many people, and we chose Ampion to help us with our community solar program. Part of the Clean Energies grant portion of getting this money is if we sign up 10 people for community solar, we can secure, be in a better position to secure some of these funds from NYSERDA. So we chose Ampion to go with to provide the community solar. I know Joanne and Haley are here from the Green Committee, and I know they wanted to talk a lot about some of this at the end of tonight's meeting, so I won't go into too much detail, but there is a phone number here for people if you are interested in, if you've got more questions and you're interested in learning more about it, or you can call here at Town Hall and we'll be happy to assist you. But those are the only two announcements I had. Thank you.
Very good. Joanne, you're going to talk about solar? All right. Anyone else? Okay. All right, Teresa, we have a few resolutions. If you could read through those, please.
A resolution authorizing the acquisition of intelligent lighting technology through Verizon Wireless for the streetlight LED project. Whereas by resolution number 246 of 2018, the town board authorized an energy efficiency contract with Siemens Industry Incorporated for the upgrade and installation of a new LED streetlights, including smart city intelligent lighting controls, pending the acquisition of existing lights from National Grid and NYSEG. And whereas pursuant to General Municipal Law 10316, municipalities are authorized to purchase materials, equipment, supplies, and services through publicly bid contracts of another political state or political subdivision thereof. And whereas the state of Utah has entered into a master agreement, MA 152, with Cellco, doing business as Verizon Wireless through a competitively bid RFP process undertaken by NASPO Value Point, a purchasing cooperative of the National Association of State Procurement Officers. And whereas Siemens Industry Incorporated recommends Verizon's Intelligent Lighting Service, a hosted solution designed to provide outdoor LED lighting with energy and maintenance savings as a turnkey web-enabled node and connectivity system for IT management and for the lighting system to be installed following the acquisition of existing lights from the utilities. And whereas the New York State Chief Procurement Officer has approved the town's participation in MA 152 through a statement of work offered to the town by Verizon Wireless. And whereas the initiative upfront cost of acquisition and setup charges are covered in the initial Siemens contract to be reimbursed by Siemens as a component of the energy efficiency contract authorized by resolution number 246 of 2018. Now therefore be it resolved that the supervisor is authorized to execute the attached statement of work for intelligent lighting services through Verizon Wireless at a cost not to exceed $6,260.20. And be it further resolved that the comptroller is authorized to pay Verizon Wireless up to $6,260.20 for the first instance, pending reimbursement of same by Siemens Incorporated, and to pay invoices for monthly recurring charges of up to $260.40 for connectivity and portal services from lighting district utilities. A resolution authorizing the filing of an application for a state assistance from the Household Hazardous Waste Day State Assistance Program and signing of the associated state master grant contract under all appropriate laws of state New York State. Whereas by resolution number 183 of 2019, the town board awarded a contract to Clean Harbors Environmental Services Incorporated for collection and disposal of household hazardous waste during the collection days in 2019 and 2021. And whereas the state of New York provides financial aid incentives for household hazardous waste programs, and whereas the town of Clifton Park finds and determines it to be in the public interest and benefit to file an application under these laws for state funding for the annual household hazardous waste collection day for Saturday, September 25th, 2021. And whereas the town board wishes to execute a contract by and between the people of the state of New York, the state, and the town for such available state incentives and financial assistance. Now therefore be it resolved that the planning and stormwater technician is authorized to file an application in the form required by the state of New York in conformity with the applicable laws of the state of New York, including all understanding and assurances contained in said application. Two, that the town supervisor or his designee is directed and authorized as official representative of the town of Clifton Park to act in connection with the application, to sign the resulting contract if said application is approved by the state, and to provide such additional information as may be required. Three, that the town of Clifton Park agrees to fund the entire cost of said household hazardous waste program in the first instance and will seek reimbursement by the state for share of such costs as indicated in the contract. And that four, that two certified copies of this resolution be prepared and sent to the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation together with a complete application. And five, that this resolution shall take effect immediately, and be it further resolved that the supervisor is authorized to sign the household hazardous waste collection agreement with Clean Harbors for Household Hazardous Waste Day 2021 in an amount not to exceed $36,000 to be paid from General Fund Community Development Household Hazardous Waste Day. A resolution authorizing the supervisor to sign contracts with the 2021 subcontract hires, whereas Miley Kramer, Director of Parks, Recreation, and Community Affairs, has requested that the town board authorize contracts for certain recreational programs, and whereas the town board supports continuation of the listed recreation programs with Anthony Domicolo, 47 Gloucester Street, Clifton Park, for girls' fall and winter basketball program. Now therefore be it resolved that the town supervisor is hereby authorized to sign the attached contract with Anthony Domicolo as 2021 recreation subcontractor. A resolution hiring two motor equipment operators in the Clifton Park Highway Department, whereas Dan Bull, Highway Superintendent, wishes to hire two motor equipment operators, MEOs, for the Highway Department due to the retirement of William Hitt and Dave Pettis. And whereas Mr. Bull has conducted interviews and driving records reviews and has recommended the hiring of John Perry, 9 Lake Road, Waterford, and Jordan Gardner, 226 Kingsley Road, Apartment 1, Burn Hills. Now therefore be it resolved that John Perry and Jordan Gardner be hired as MEOs, each to be grade 5, step 1, year 1, and be paid at the rate of $23.99 an hour effective August 16, 2021. And be it further resolved that the comptroller transfer $25,040 from Highway Fund General Construction D. Pettis to Highway Fund General Construction Employee Fund, and $5,263 from Highway Fund Snow Removal DPEDS to Highway Fund Snow Removal Employee Fund to be allocated based on the attached schedule. A resolution authorizing the residents of a portion of Garrison Lane in the Country Knolls subdivision to conduct a block party on September 5th, 2021. Whereas the residents of the Country Knolls subdivision plan to conduct a block party within the subdivision on September 5th, 2021 from 4 to 8 p.m. and have requested permission to use a portion of Garrison Lane for their party activities. Now therefore be it resolved that the town highway superintendent recommends that the request be approved for the use of the portion of Garrison Lane, September 5th, 2021, from 4 to 8 p.m. to be used for party activities, so long as those activities do not block off the streets and make sure emergency vehicles can gain access to the street if needed. Be it further resolved that the residents shall be responsible for all clean up activities on town property or on the street right of way resulting from the social activity. And be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be sent to the applicable fire department and ambulance corps, sheriff department, and the state police.
Any questions on the resolutions? Teresa, if you could read the headings, please.
Resolution number 180 of 2021, a resolution authorizing the acquisition of intelligent lighting technology through Verizon Wireless for the streetlight LED project.
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Standard, second by Mrs. Flood. As the resolution describes, this is part of our transition to new lighting technology as well as the intelligent lighting services that are a part of the project. Again, this is another project that we've been working on for a few years, but we're almost there. And we're still on track for this year, September timeframe to get this completed. But anything you want to add here, Tom? I know you've been talking to him about this.
Yeah, not really. Just as the resolution kind of lays out, this was part of the original contract with Siemens. It was always contemplated to have these nodes for smart city technology. This particular contract was occasioned by the unavailability of the original spec equipment from a company called Acuity. Siemens recommends that we use the Verizon nodes instead. That's why they're reimbursing us for the cost that's contained within the energy performance contract that we did, energy efficiency contract that we did with Siemens. But we will be on the Verizon Wireless system for control, and we will be, this contract puts us in direct contract with Verizon Wireless for those services. So we'll be able to take advantage of the technology, including to maximize the energy savings.
Very good. So we're almost there. Any questions on the resolution? Okay, Teresa?
Councilwoman Flood?
Yes.
Councilwoman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallowitz?
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett?
Yes.
Resolution number 181 of 2021, a resolution authorizing the filing of an application for a state assistance from the Household Hazardous Waste State Assistance Program and signing of the Associated State Master Grant Contract under all appropriate laws of New York State.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Standard, second by Mr. Morelli. Yeah, this, we'll be pushing out much more information about this soon, but September 25th has been the scheduled day for the town's Household Hazardous Waste Collection Day, and we know it'll be very busy. So all of you that have hazardous waste, it's a great way to get rid of it for free and ensure that it'll be handled appropriately. So again, we'll be getting out more information, but through our agreement with New York State, they will cover a high level of the cost associated with the program. All right, any discussion? Teresa?
Councilwoman Flood?
Yes.
Councilwoman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallowitz?
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett?
Yes.
Resolution number 182 of 2021, a resolution authorizing the supervisor to sign contracts with the 2021 subcontract hires.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Wallen, second by Mrs. Standard. We had, terrible situation. The longtime leader of the girls' fall and winter basketball program, Mr. Jerry Holland, passed away. And our sincerest condolences to his family. He had run the program for many years, and he loved it. He just loved running that program. He had his daughters involved with the program, and they just did a great job. It was a labor of love for all of them. So we lost Jerry, but the family wants this to continue. The discussions I've had with them is that they definitely want to continue this with the town. So there is a committee that was put together that does include the Holland family that is in a position now to plan and continue in Jerry's memory. I've also discussed with them doing something as the season is underway to remember Jerry for his years of providing recreation for countless number of girls with the fall and winter basketball program. So look forward to working with Anthony and the other folks that are involved in keeping this program going and keeping Jerry's memory alive. Any discussion?
I would just offer, Morgan, my middle daughter, participated in this program several years ago. And Jerry and his daughter did a great job with it, so look forward to it continuing on in his memory and to be successful for youth for years to come.
Yeah, they have a very good team established, so I have every confidence that they'll be in great position moving forward despite Jerry losing Jerry. Teresa?
Councilwoman Flood?
Yes.
Councilwoman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallen?
Yes.
Supervisor Barry?
Yes.
Resolution number 183 of 2021, a resolution hiring 2 MEO operators in the Clifton Park Highway Department. So moved. Second.
Moved by Mrs. Standard, second by Mrs. Flood, and we have our two new prospective employees here tonight, I believe. Dan?
Yeah, absolutely. I have John Perry and Jordan Gardner. They're going to be joining us. We had a very exhaustive search, over 30 applicants for two positions. We did 12 interviews. It's always a real tough job to get a lot of good people in front of us, but we always try to find people with a diverse background and have the proper licensing and certifications and training. And I believe we found them in these two individuals here. So I invited them here tonight, and they can meet the board and everybody, and hopefully enjoy your team.
We are bucking the trend, it appears, on the labor shortage end of things. So welcome both. Look forward to working with you and getting to know you. Okay. Any further discussion? Teresa?
Councilwoman Flood? Yes. Councilwoman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallen? Yes. Supervisor Barry?
Yes.
Resolution number 184 of 2021, a resolution authorizing the residents of a portion of Garrison Lane in the Country Knoll subdivision to conduct a block party on September 5th, 2021. So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Standard, second by Mr. Morelli, and this is the block party to welcome John and Jordan, right?
Absolutely.
Just, I assume that's the case, but I'm sure you'll be invited. But this is normal. I will say normal.
We do quite a
few
few
of these a year, but anything different about this one?
Nothing different. It gives us the opportunity to follow the rules and the residents request to use the streets, whether it's a 5K or a block party, we have to follow those procedures, and then that gives us the opportunity to reach out to first responders so that they're aware of those activities. And we just inform the people throwing the block party that they have to keep at least one lane open at all times and have nothing there, and everyone's real accommodating with that. No one ever has an issue with it.
All right, any discussion? Teresa?
Councilwoman Flood? Yes. Councilwoman Stanford?
Yes.
Councilman Marelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallach? Yes. Supervisor Barrett?
Yes. Any other business to come before the board this evening?
Yes.
Yes.
A couple of weeks ago, some of us up here on the board were contacted by a resident with concerns about use on the common. I spoke to this resident the other day, and he expressed to me that there were two families on two separate occasions who were on the common with their young children kicking around a ball. They were approached by what this gentleman told me as he described that the person who approached them was a soccer coach and proceeded to tell them that they could not be on the common kicking a ball around. So this gentleman had sent an email to us with that concern. This issue was brought up about a year ago. We had some residents who had a similar experience on the common. They were repeatedly asked to remove by non-town personnel. So I thought that had stopped, considering the fields for school had reopened and there was a place for people to go. It was no longer the only place for people to go, but apparently not. So there are, and it's very concerning to me that we have non-town personnel removing residents from public property. It's not as if these families were out there in the middle of soccer games, or there was no other use going on. They were just simply out there trying to kick a ball around and enjoy time with their families. And I think it's a problem, and I think it needs to be addressed. So I know we have had many discussions. I've had discussions with all the board members here about the issue of the common. And I brought with me a copy of the contract between the town of Clifton Park and the Clifton Park Soccer Club. And I have a copy for each member up here. I'm requesting that we give this some serious consideration. This contract was passed at a time where none of us were here. It was a different supervisor, there was a different town attorney, and a completely different board. This particular contract is a 99-year contract for exclusive free use of the Clifton Common. We've got almost about 17 acres of soccer fields that is just has been untouchable for our residents. And I have been hearing these complaints since I took position on this board about this situation. And I really think that we need to consider reviewing this contract, having conversations with the stakeholders, with soccer, with our residents, because I don't think it's fair to the Clifton Park taxpayer paying for the public property and not being allowed to use it. I don't know if this falls under parkland alienation. I'm not an attorney, but I know, Tom, you've got experience with this. I did read the alienation handbook provided from New York State. I am hoping that, I don't know if this is legal to even do, to exclude, have free and exclusive use to one particular group and not allow the people who pay for this land to use it. So I'm requesting that we look a little bit more into this and see if it is in fact legal for us to continue with this contract. And if it is, then we take a different direction and maybe have conversations with soccer on how we can better coexist on this land. If you read the contract, and I hope that you do at some point, I know some of you have, it does state that the soccer club needs to communicate with the Parks and Rec Department, and the Parks and Rec Department has the decision and the overriding authority to help make the decisions for who uses those lands. From my experience, that has not been the case. Several residents have come to me asking for usage of those fields, and I was directed to the soccer club and turned down. So, I mean, right here in the first paragraph, it says it's the town's intent that the fields serve the largest number of residents regardless of age, race, creed, or sex. And I really hope that we follow that. If it is in fact something that is legal, if the state says that this is something that we can uphold, okay, again, I'd like to revisit it as a board, but I really think that it's a problem with our residents. And it's not just the gentleman that contacted us 2 weeks ago. It's not just the folks that came last year with the same issue of being kicked off these fields. I grew up here. I didn't grow up with the Common. The Common was built when I was just about out of high school. I did have the ability to use those facilities, which is fantastic, but this has been an issue since I can remember, growing up. And now as a board member, it is still an issue, and it's still, I get complaints on it every other day, and that is not an exaggeration. So I'd really like us to examine this a little bit further. I hope we don't have any more complaints, and I'm not quite sure who to contact. I don't know who's been kicking people off the soccer fields, but I really think we need to have a conversation because it's upsetting our residents. So I don't know if anyone else wanted to add anything. Again, I have spoken to individual board members about this, but those are my sentiments about the issue.
Yes, Councilwoman, I'd like to add that the town also has the financial responsibility for maintaining those grounds out of our budget, out of your budget, which is part of the agreement, and it is very upsetting to me. This is a public taxpayer park, and we should not be spending your money maintaining the fields for the soccer club. And thank you for bringing it up, because I too have had concerns and residents' calls about being kicked out of the public park.
And I agree that this is definitely something we need to talk about. You know, I know my son plays soccer, plays lacrosse, and they're not allowed to use the fields, and they have to pay for the fields they use, but soccer doesn't have to pay for their fields. It's not fair, and it needs to be addressed. So thank you for bringing it up.
So have you talked to the soccer club yet, or?
I have not.
Oh, okay.
No, I have not, but I would like to set up a conversation. I don't want to take anyone's space. I don't want to take anyone's fields. I don't want to further alienate anyone. Like I said, I want us to be able to coexist. 17 acres, there's a lot of space out there. And I think that either we follow the contract and allow our Parks and Rec department to really regulate the usage, or we, you know, come up with an agreement, a revised agreement, where we can make sure that people are not accosted when they're trying to just enjoy some family time. So I would like to, I know, I would be interested in having discussions. I don't know if there's anyone else on the board who would like to be involved in that, but I certainly can. I would like to have another board member participate, and we can contact soccer and move forward from there, and just open up the conversation and, you know, explain what the issue is, and that we're looking forward to a solution.
Yeah, last I knew, they have a board. They probably still do. So I don't know how often they meet, but yeah, that's certainly a conversation if you want to have, and let us know what you find out.
Thank you. I
So-
appreciate it.
A couple of questions, probably more for our town attorney. And I'd be happy to be on that committee with you, Councilwoman Stanton.
Thank you.
Is there a separate contract with Clifton Park baseball and Michigan softball? Is that,
Yeah, it mentions it in the heading, yeah.
Yeah, there are different agreements with the baseball league and the softball league.
and are they worded the same, or do we not have?
Basically,
The same basic concept, yeah.
this was a 3rd of April, 95. I assume the other ones were the same date?
The softball agreement was redone. I think the softball agreement.
Oh, that's right, yeah, that's right, yeah.
I helped with that.
Yeah.
The baseball agreement and the soccer agreement predate, to go back to the 90s.
But we're not having issues there. I mean, people
No.
show up and play softball and do, like one-on-one instruction and stuff like that, as long as it's not a game or practice reserved.
Yes.
Correct, there is, to my knowledge, and I used to be one of those people, I'm a former softball player myself, and I still played after high school, and, towards the end of my career in high school, we would come over to the common, not as part of Ms. Shen, but just throwing the ball around. And I've never, never had an issue, Ms. Shen never came to us and told us to leave, and I've never had complaints from residents of such, nor with baseball. Or any other part of the common. It just seems to be that those 17, give or take, acres of soccer fields. They're beautiful fields and people just want to gravitate to them and use them. So I think that there's a solution somewhere in there.
And then my second question, was there any payment or consideration that the league gave to the town to get this?
I think there was some upfront work done on the field. Certainly that was true with the baseball fields. And they do, well, I don't know about this. I don't know about the soccer agreement. I know the baseball agreement has some quid pro quos in terms of who does what for maintenance.
Yeah, the leagues do maintenance on the fields. So the baseball league does the infield maintenance, striping, so on and so forth. Anything that's needed to ensure that there's safe play, regulated play. Soccer does the same. They line their fields, and anything else associated with the games themselves. Same is true for Ms. Shen. Yeah, they do all the work on the field. So our crews are not, rolling the infields or painting the soccer fields.
A lot has changed since this
Cut the
contract was written.
It's a long time ago.
Yeah, I was in my early 20s, and soccer was the predominant sport in Clifton Park. I didn't know what lacrosse was. Football had their own space. And really, that was it. There wasn't even any hockey. That has changed. Athletics has just blossomed in Clifton Park. It's always been strong in the Shenandoah community, but really primarily focusing on football and soccer. But again, that has changed. So a lot has changed since this contract was written. And I think that it's up to us to kind of change with the times and the needs of our residents and taxpayers.
At the time the common was built, these were basically the legacy sports and as you mentioned, the most popular sports of the time, softball, baseball, soccer, and the hockey rink came not soon thereafter. But yeah, so these were the legacy sports of that time, and I know they had obviously a great deal to do with the build out of their area of the common with regard to the fields and concession stands and equipment sheds, so on and so forth. And since that time, we've had projects like baseball. They added indoor batting cages, for instance. That's something they take care of completely themselves. So that's basically the history of it. It's the legacy sports, and yeah, there's no doubt other sports have grown over the years. So
Thank you.
like pickleball, that's why we line the courts of pickleball.
And cricket.
Yeah, I went down to Florida years ago and I said, gee, I played this new game called pickleball. And it was kind of fun. So we lined some of the courts, and that's grown as well. The YMCA has a very robust pickleball program. We have a whole bunch of courts that are lined for it that are used constantly. So there are definitive examples of sports that have grown over the years, which is good, obviously. Any other business to come before the board tonight? All right, with that, we'll go to public privilege. John, did you have anything?
No, sir.
Okay, sir. I know Joanne does, and Haley.
Yep.
All right, let's talk solar.
Okay.
You know, not to take up your time before you get up there, but
You're on the clock.
we were talking, I only have 5 minutes. We were talking about the climate smart communities up at the county. And I was looking again at the checklist,
Oh, good.
and I noticed the street lights were on there. And it's changed quite a bit. They've added many different ways that you can gain points and advance your program from when we started. I mean, we started this some time ago. So with this streetlight program, I'm not sure exactly how much, but it does get us somewhere.
700 points.
700
50%
points.
are installed, so we're looking forward to that.
And thank you, Joanne, for your advocacy with the streetlights. When I became chairwoman of the
That
Green
was
Committee 8 years
so
ago,
long ago.
that was the very first issue that you approached me with was LED streetlights.
That's
And
a
here we
good
are.
memory. Well, I'm Joanne Coombs, and this is Haley.
Haley Donald.
And, yeah, I didn't know she changed her name recently, Mary Haley. And, the reason we thought about coming and addressing it really stems from, something I read in the minutes that you are getting new software for the building department. And, I thought, that's interesting. I think that's a really great idea because it's really hard to track all that stuff. But I do a lot of webinars and keep up to date with what's going on with the CLCPA, which is the Climate Leadership and Protection Act, which is now a law and it's coming down the pike. And it's state run, and we are going to start to see really us becoming more strict with our code. And the word out on the street is that we're going to be adopting the stretch code, I believe in 2023 probably, it looks like. But in our CEC, Clean Energy Community Program, if you do that now, you get 1,200 points towards our final goal, getting the $20,000 grant, and that would be nice. And you also get an additional, hang on, do you remember?
It's $5,000.
$5,000. So if we got to adopt it in a year or two anyhow, why don't we get more bang for our buck and do it now? So that's my reason.
You get more points for this than the streetlights?
Yeah, 1,200. They really want people to adopt this because they know it's coming. They want people to champion it, get knowledgeable, and start utilizing it. It's not that different than the code we have now, to be honest with you. But, so therefore, why not do it? So the reason I saw that is that if we're getting software, make sure that that software accommodates the stretch code, or else it'll be obsolete and outdated in a year or two when we actually adopt it as a state. So that was my main reason to look at this. But, you know, that's a good deal as far as just adopting it towards our goal for the $20,000 grant that we'd like to get.
Can you describe what is different?
About the code,
Yeah.
Hal, can you help me out?
No, just.
I know some
you know,
finer points,
Just
but
basic, I mean, you don't have to get
more
far in the weeds.
insulation.
It applies to existing building projects. It provides a savings of roughly 11% over the 2020 Energy Conservation Construction Code of New York State. And then the New York Stretch 2020 is anticipated to be roughly as efficient as the next revision of the state energy code. So it may not be the exact energy code in 2023, but it's going to be roughly as efficient. So
what you're doing is you're saving money on energy by the way you build. It's described, you know, you have to follow the rules.
Mm.
So it just takes a little training for the building department to know what the new code is and enforce it, and the software could probably help them. So I thought it was timely to bring it up here so that we can do all these things at once, in one step, as opposed to piecemeal. And that might be more confusing for the building department, I thought, but that was my main impetus for bringing it to your attention. But while I'm here, there's 3 community campaigns that we are involved in, and that would be this nice flyer that Hallie, helped construct, because it was, it's a lot to wrap your head around. But if we can sign up 10 people, like Amy said, for our, community solar program, we will get $5,000 just off the bat. That's easy. You're gonna, each town, like, each person who signs up, the town will receive $100. So if you think that everybody over at the senior center signs up, that's a big chunk of change right there. So, I mean, sign up, you're gonna benefit the town, but when you sign up, you're gonna get $100 too, personally. So, I mean, my friends in Buffalo, I can have them sign up as long as they go to this website, and we will get $100.
All right.
That's cool. So, the sky's the limit here, and I have to give Ampion credit. I've never seen a better managed program and coordinated. It was excellent, and we did vet them, and you're getting 10% off your electric bill every month. And I'll be honest with you, I look, you can't do any better than that. You could probably do worse. I know some companies only offer you 5. But, if you can't put solar on your house, you can do this. So.
Yeah, they're aggressively, I talked to a couple of my colleagues up at the county, and they're aggressively,
They
we're
got their act
trying to work,
together.
yeah,
It's a
working
great
with other
program. They know what they're
municipalities
doing.
as well, yeah.
No, I have to say they were good. So similarly, if we get 10 heat pumps installations, which is clean heating and
You love
cooling.
those heat pumps?
Uh,
You love those
I
heat
do,
pumps?
because they're really efficient and comfortable. You get your heating and cooling. We again would get $5,000 right off the bat, and how many points? 200 points towards that goal. Same thing with the community solar. And if we get 10 residents to buy an electric vehicle, again, we get $5,000 off the bat and 200 more points.
Mm-hmm.
So where we stand now is we have 1,200 points. If we adopted the stretch code, that brings us to 24. We need 32 to get to $20,000. So we're making 315, 15,000, 20,000, another 5,000. There's a lot of money there. So I need everybody on board to all be working towards this, and it's competitive. So if we don't get in there in time, some other town's gonna get there first. And I heard this year we just adopted the stretch code. So they already got their 5,000.
A couple of my colleagues talked about that too, yeah,
Good, okay,
they were doing the same, or I guess looking to do the same.
right. Well, we recommend it. That's what we're here for. The Green Committee thinks it's a great idea. Can't hurt, might help. What do you have to lose?
What do you got to lose?
Right. And, we hope we can get your support for that. And, the street lights, like we said, we're on track for that. The stretch code, we need your help. And, go ahead.
I just have one more thing to add for the stretch code. If you have any technical questions about it, I can put you in touch with the circuit rider for our region, like Lauren, and he answers all the questions. I mean,
He's
he's
wonderful.
back support.
Yeah, I'm sure the building department knows more. They're not here. Yeah, and then I'm working with Dan, actually I'll throw this in too. I took a look at his highway department. It's amazing the equipment he is working and taking care of. They do an excellent job, but it is archaic and they need replacement. So we're looking at 2 vehicles that are pre-2009 that have at least gone 5,000 miles in the last 2 years and are diesel. We have to scrap that and then they will replace it and with 80% funding. So it's a great opportunity to upgrade. And this all came about because we were concerned about salt on the road. And they just don't have the mechanisms to regulate that. So they need some help. So hopefully we can help them through this. And we'll get some points towards our goal if we can get the EV on board. If we can get some charge stations installed, that'd be great. That would also give us points. And they're gonna need an EV station when they get the trucks. So that's kind of a summary for us. I think that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah, we had corresponded about the EV stations, and I think we've talked to
Yes.
the same people, at least 1 or 2 of them. But those didn't, there wasn't a solution there with who we
Well,
were. talking about. So what I did,
You want me to, because I'll make sure that you install.
so what I did was I contacted the person at National Grid, figuring that, well, they're a big part of this because it has to be analyzed, you know, that do you need electrical upgrades, where these things might be, so on and so forth,
Okay.
which does get covered, that cost gets covered.
Right.
But there is a review that needs to be done, as I found out. The place that I think they'd be most used would be the Common, because you have people there for 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe hours, maybe all day. Maybe they're there for 2 days, you know, Saturday and Sunday. So it would seem to me that would be a captive audience that would have the time to use it. You know, they're not coming to town hall for 10 minutes to do something. They're at the fields for hours. So what I did was I contacted National Grid. They sent me a list of approved contractors.
Right.
So I think that's a good place to start to
Well,
start the
share that
vetting
with me. I'll be glad
process.
to help you with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great. I did notice over at Family Practice on Talwood, City Health, they're installing 5 chargers. That's pretty cool. And I think what we're gonna do for Green Committee is actually make a little map so that everybody knows where they can charge. So that's a good one, yeah.
Yeah, so I figure that's a good place to start. Vet some of these companies since they're already approved by National Grid and everything's free.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, why not?
there's grants
Yeah, we
to
get our
cover.
See,
Like I
that's
said
cool.
before, nothing else. What do you got to lose, right?
Right.
So it's all free. If there's electrical upgrades that do need to be had, that's free.
So this is the time to do it. This is
The charging
opportunity.
stations are free, so anyway, I'll get that list,
Okay, great.
got that list handy, I was looking at it the other day,
Wonderful.
start vetting those companies.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Thank you, ladies. I just want to add one thing about the community solar. It's not just for residential homeowners, property owners. This is perfect for businesses, commercial entities. This is also good for folks who live in apartments. Or municipalities. It's good for just about everyone, so.
10%, 10%, that's probably nice dinner out once or twice a year, I'd say, so.
It's amazing, I mean, we understand firsthand the incredible amount of public money that's subsidizing all these green energy projects, but this is another level down. I mean, this is a community solar program where, you know, you get 10%, you get $100, you get $100. I mean, there's so much money flying around, it's amazing.
Yeah, well, you know, when I see that happening, I must say I get leery. This sounds too good to be true. And that's why we really did our homework here, because, you know, we didn't want to enter into anything that people didn't feel comfortable doing or it wasn't true to word. This Brian, who we've been working with, Brian Busby, has been working for Amphion since 2014, I think. And I know several people that know him, and I have nothing but admiration for him and the work that he does. So we vetted him really, really well. I mean, did character studies and their company studies. I mean, yeah, it didn't sound too good to be true, but go for it. I think it's a great program. We're lucky to have it, I think.
Very good.
Okay.
I just have a quick, is there a communication campaign around this? Like, how do people know to tell us?
Yeah, we're getting there.
About heat pumps and-
We're getting it. We have a Facebook page, and that's going to be posted.
Mhm.
And if you notice, there's a lot, like, contact me personally.
Mhm.
It's really hard to track the EVs and the heat pumps.
Sure.
How are we going to know if they install them? And there's some other little caveats in that program, like you have to have it installed by one of the Heat Smart campaign installers, which is
Mhm.
only 6 or something. So, you know, we might not reach those benchmarks for that, but we're going to try, you know, and we're going to get, like, meetings at the library when we can, or maybe we'll Zoom, go to the senior center and explain the program and have public information meetings. We gotta take it on the road, I think. I was thinking about putting some flyers out for tomorrow night. I thought that.
National Night Out,
Yeah,
yes.
National Night Out.
That would be wonderful.
And certainly if there's stuff that we can try to share through social media to
Yes,
get, you know, kind of collect some of this.
so who do I send that to?
Matt's actually
Matt?
been working on some social media promotions
well, Matt,
for some of our
I'll send it your way.
programs.
Yeah, I've had some calls with Brian and with Empion's marketing pieces. So
that's
we've
true.
actually got a couple pieces scheduled to build upon after the pieces hit in the mail
And a
to
hit,
pick up
so
from there.
it's
Yeah,
important.
exactly. But in some of the areas. And we discussed with them, which you just brought up, which was, doing some things at the libraries and
Right.
stuff like that, and doing some community forums that would open up that for people to ask questions coming in person, but also, that it would be streamed so they could do it
I was hoping maybe
that way.
Clifton Park Water Authority in their bills would include a piece, trying to encourage people to sign up, stuff like that, so. There's a lot of different avenues, marketing campaign's not my thing, it's for.
Oh, you'd be surprised, Joanne. Oh, you'd be surprised. Lobbying and marketing.
Send your ideas, and we need our team, right? We're all
Lobbying and
working.
marketing's right up your alley.
Yeah, thank
Great, thank you.
you.
All right.
Motion to adjourn. Second.
Councilwoman Clark, yes. Councilwoman Standard,
Yes.
Councilman Rowley,
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallowwood, yes. Supervisor Grant.
Yes, thank you.
Matt, yeah,
Okay, I got some little.
I'm gonna read these.